Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to explain how to do a combined stretch for the hamstring and calf muscles. And this setup involves some equipment which involves a little bit of work to gather it and arrange it, but the advantage is that you're stretching two muscle groups at once, and this is very beneficial. There's really no other way to do this combined stretch without having some gear, and I'll explain that in a minute. And basically what you would need is some sort of board, and in this case I have a 4-inch wide pine board here. If you don't have a board, if you do have a weight bench at home or any kind of exercise bench, that can suffice. Even if you have an ironing board, you can use that. You can set that on the floor and do this. So don't be deterred if you don't have a board like this. I'm doing it on a countertop here. If you don't have the right height of countertop, you can also, again, do it on the floor. But I'm just going to demonstrate it in this position here. The other thing you would need is some sort of other strap. In this case, I have one of the stretch-out type straps, which are just a little bit easier to use, but any kind of non-stretchable strap would work. And so the way to do this is to do a half sit on the board, and you get your entire leg along the length of the board. And the whole point of having the board there is that this allows you to have a belt that's going to tighten down your knee into full extension, and so that you don't have to hold it in full extension. You don't have to press on it, and that frees up your hands to do the other stuff. And so I'm going to crank this down pretty well. I happen to have full extension of my knee, so that can work for me. I know there are people who don't have completely full extension, and so in that case you wouldn't be able to assume this position, but you could pad up underneath, use some padding, use a small towel roll or a washcloth to pad up underneath the knee in order to make it work for you. But you do want your knee to be in as much extension as possible, fully extended, and then we're even going to extend it further. So once that is done, you want to position the belt or the strap just above the kneecap. You don't want to compress your kneecap, but you want to get it right above that, as close to the joint as possible. So I've got myself bound down onto this board now, and be safe here in all cases. Make sure that you're not going to fall off the thing with this board strapped to you. So just be careful. Once my knee is secure, then the second part of the setup is to use the strap and loop it around the forefoot. And then we're going to do a combined stretch. So essentially the knee is in full extension, but it can also do hyperextension. And then with this, I'm going to do some calf stretch into the motion of dorsiflexion, toes toward the head. And that stretches the calf muscle group. There are two calf muscle groups in general, two large muscle groups in the calf. One of them does cross the knee, the other doesn't. So this is stretching the gastrocnemius, which crosses the knee joint. Then I'm going to actually go further than this, and again, you can stop at this point if this is all you can tolerate. But if you can go further, it's good to do so. The normal knee does have about 5 degrees of hyperextension, and so we're going to get that by pulling backward. And you can see my heel does lift off of the board, and this is where the advantage of this other strap comes in. Without this strap, my entire leg would just come up, and I wouldn't get a maximal stretch at the knee. With the knee strapped down, the leg strapped down, now I can get completely end range knee extension. It's normal for the knee to have that 5 degrees of hyperextension while doing passive stretching in a safe environment like this. It's not normal to hyperextend the knees while running or walking. However, in this environment, in this setting, it's good to do that. So that's how you have it. And like with any stretching, you should hold for 30 seconds at a time. However, in the hyperextended position, you might find that if you hold that for 30 seconds, you're going to start to feel some sciatic or leg pain. So don't get too crazy with this, but just do it enough to get a vigorous stretch. And even if you do a few seconds at the extreme end range, you're still in a stretched position when you relax out of it.